You've slept on it, you thought about it, and you've decided this environment is toxic. I've been dealing with this for months. I need to get out of here for my own sanity. How do I do it? The first thing, do not walk out. You need to quit before you reach that point of walking out. I know it's tempting. You want to fuck them the way that they've been fucking you, right? You are sick of their bullshit. You want to just leave. Well, there's a few reasons why you don't want to walk out. Number one being you're going to burn your bridges, okay? When you are newer to the industry, or even if you've been doing it a while, the number one things that employers will look at are employment gaps and negative references. Those are two major problems. If you walk out, you leave everybody stranded, you burn your bridge with that company, you can't use, if you were there for 2 years, you can't use that 2 years of experience that you gained on the line. The people that you are walking out on are going to have to pick up your mess. Then the people that come in the morning are going to have a heavier prep load or have to clean something or whatever. Other managers that don't deserve it probably might have to come in and cover shifts. They have to go through a hiring process now. That everything happens just bam. And you may feel like they deserve it, but your coworkers don't deserve it. The people that aren't involved in the drama don't deserve it. And you don't deserve to not be able to have that experience to put on your application. Now, I understand that it's hard to stay professional when somebody has been passive-aggressive, extra shitty, giving you more work just because they don't like you, whatever the case may be. You also need to maintain your composure and your professionalism, because what you're looking for is the future and getting a good reference. That's another problem if you're petty and you're nasty to people and you walk out, or you don't walk out, but you're just really bad to work around. That's going to be reflected on a reference, and a lot more employers call references than you may think. Next up, when you're putting applications out, be selective, be deliberate, take your time. This falls back on not walking out and staying professional also, because you don't know how long you're going to have this job before you find something. You don't want to quit your job and wonder how you're going to get rent paid, right? And I know there's days where you don't give a fuck about being homeless because of how shitty that job is, but you're stuck there, right? That's the feeling, that's the mentality, and it blows. I understand that. But be slow and deliberate with your application process. Check on Glassdoor. Talk to other people. I actually have an entire video I did on that. I'll leave that down in the description, all about job hunting and stuff like that. I'll put a link to like 3 or 4 videos that I think might help you through the other side of this process. So they don't appreciate you. Lack of appreciation is the number one reason why a lot of people leave their jobs. I always say people don't quit jobs, they quit people. You're where you're working isn't a toxic work environment because the building is toxic. The people in it are making it a toxic place. The reason why I'm suggesting to be slow and deliberate is because you don't want to end up in another toxic place. You don't want to end up doing that to yourself all over again. Leave one toxic work environment for another one, or even worse, what if it's worse and then you need to go back there, and now you can't go back there because you burnt your bridges? So what happens is you get your other job lined up, right? They're like, okay, when can you start? Put a pause on it and say, I should be able to start in about 3 weeks. I'm going to go give notice tomorrow. Since I have the offer, I'm going to go give notice, and then I will text you or call you and let you know exactly what the end dates are. If you are genuinely concerned about them firing you, this is kind of a tough one, because you go to put your notice in and they say, don't bother putting your notice in. I don't want you here tomorrow. Just don't come in. You know, if you're gonna quit, then fucking quit. Get out of here. Shoot. If they're gonna do that, look at it as a positive and an opportunity. In this case, what opportunities do you have from them telling you just leave? Well, you told them, the other place, that you can start for 3 weeks, so you're just out of a job for 3 weeks? No. Send them an email, call, whatever, a meeting, whatever your form of communication is, whatever works best for you, and be like, hey, I got good news. I am actually able to start much earlier than I previously thought. Are you guys able to start me next week? And then they can come back with a yes or no. Honestly, there isn't much you can do if they just say, no, you're supposed to start in a month. But my experience has been they never tell you to wait an extra 20 days to come into work or whatever. You know, They will be like, oh, great, yeah, how about Monday at 2? You can come in, introduce, do a little bit of prep and stuff, and then see how a dinner service is run. Does that sound good to you? Now you have a new job. You have better, friendly people. You have quit your toxic work environment without being a huge douchebag, without burning the place down, without your boss knowing that you hate everybody there. The fact of the matter is the toxicity that brewed there is on the managers, and they should not have been letting that atmosphere get that way in the first place. And a well-run kitchen isn't going to be full of toxic, nasty-ass people. They're going to be hardworking, awesome people. And you get that through a workplace culture. I could do a whole video about workplace culture and like how to change the culture and things like that. There's entire mechanisms in place to prevent toxic work environments. If you hire toxic people, if you're shitty at hiring, it's going to be garbage in, garbage out, right? What happens at places that start to fail is they hire a bunch of shitty employees because they don't pay them well. Shitty pay for shitty employees that do a shitty job, and they all hate each other. You end up with high turnover. Then you, the good person that has been there for 5 years, that is the one that they can always rely on, you get saddled with all the extra work, you take all the shit, and eventually you and everybody else that's a good worker starts leaving. So then the toxic environment becomes like this concentrated amalgamation of bullshit. It's not fair. It's not fair to people that work their ass off to end up getting saddled with a bunch of extra work and get screwed by a bunch of toxic people while they're doing their job and this other person's job. You deserve better pay. You deserve to find a place that suits you better. And I think it's bullshit that managers act like they don't have any control over it. They have control over it. They're just choosing not to exercise that control. They're choosing not to be present and be part of the solution. They usually, in these kind of places, tell me if this is true. If you have a toxic work environment right now, if you clicked on this video because of toxic work environment, this is what I want you to do. Write down whether or not the boss in your toxic kitchen spends most of his time in the office, sitting on his fucking ass, on his phone or whatever, screwing the servers, whatever they're doing. They're not working. They're not working. I'll tell you that right now. They won't go on the line because they don't like it. They don't like doing work. And they don't know how to have customer service, and they're generally just shitty people. This is why I have the channel, is because I'm sick of this kind of stuff, and I want to see people that have real value be able to offer that value to that owner that's been sleeping in his restaurant for 6 months trying to get it up off the ground, that just needs like a good 2-3 people to help him out. They deserve a lot more. These business owners that are busting their ass, that have a passion, that are sleeping in their car because they dumped all their money into a restaurant, and they're actually working hard. You know, they're getting it up off the ground. Maybe they're not making money, but maybe they're not losing money. Maybe they're breaking even right now. They just need a little extra push, you know? I want to see you succeed. I want to see them succeed. I really get upset at business owners and businesses that are run bad, that don't pay their bills, they're nasty to their employees, and the employees are toxic, and those restaurants are around for decades. Right? Then the good, hardworking ones, the ones that bust their ass, the ones that are actually trying hard to get something done, they close down. They run out of money. This other guy's stiffing his vendors, and he's still open. Bouncing paychecks, he's still open. When you quit a toxic job, you don't owe that job any more of an explanation than you would owe your abusive ex-boyfriend an explanation of why you're breaking up. You don't have to justify yourself to an abusive ex. You don't have to justify yourself to a job that treats you like shit and give excuses as to why you're leaving. You don't owe that to them. They don't deserve that. You can stay professional, keep your shit together, get your applications out, and get this next job, and then you don't ever have to see them again. You can be done with it. I hope that this motivated at least one person out there, that if they're in a bad situation, know that there is hope, there is a way to get out there. If you are new to the cooking industry, or you just want general help and guidance for different things, I have a whole entire restaurants playlist that I'll put up here right now. You can check that out. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.